You are listening to The Art of Sales. Everyone sells every day, and this is your source for conversational, real-world sales and prospecting methods that you are comfortable using and that get results. You'll help people buy instead of pushing them into being sold. Here's your host, Art Sobczak.
Do you sell a commodity? You know, the same stuff that people can get online or anywhere else? Well, the thing is, if you think you do, you absolutely do. And that probably means that your sales strategy is maybe dropping your price anytime somebody asks you to. And you know what happens then? You're not making any profit in the process. And that is not a good long-term business play. Okay, so what should you do? Well, you got to change your attitude and your approach. The chicken billionaire, Frank Perdue, said that if we can differentiate a dead chicken, you can differentiate anything. Well, as funny as that might be, it's very true. Let me share a story with you. In going through my files, I found an article that I had torn out of Inc. magazine years ago about a printing company's big dilemma. What had happened is their sales reps had fallen into the trap of selling pretty much on just price. Now, it was, or is, still quite similar to what I see with sales staffs for companies that I do training with. And that's sales reps calling customers and prospects and asking, do you have anything that I can quote on? Now, sure, this might result in a few price quotes. But then what happens is sales reps follow up and they ask this question. Well, how does our quote look? And then the prospect or the buyer says, well, you got to do a little bit better. And then the sales rep says, oh, how much better? And then the sales rep goes to the manager or the owner and starts begging for a better price, saying, boss, we're getting killed out there on price, man. We got to do better. Now, if this sounds like your sales process, I would bet that your margins are razor thin or even non-existent because you're just playing in this same price arena as people who are satisfied playing that game. Well, this company realized they had to do something or they weren't going to be around. So they hired a consultant who came in, analyzed the situation, and then began to make some changes to turn things around. He was quoted in the article as saying, if your sales force is down to asking, what's it going to take to get your business, then they've basically said that they don't have any worth. It's not your customer's job to care about your margins, and you can bet that they won't. Now, to shift the focus away from price, we can follow the advice of Jim Morrissey, who was also quoted in the Inc. article. And he said, with any commodity, you've got to move the discussion toward how the customer is going to use it, and therefore what the important attributes will be. The value added isn't in the product anymore, it's in the relationship between the salesperson and the customer. So, what happened then? Well, the printing company trained its sales reps to help their customers increase revenue, decrease costs, and then retain and grow their customer base. Now, of course, although the sales reps were still selling the exact same product and the exact same product that other printers sold in the same city, hundreds of other printers, they were now focusing on the use of the printing. In this case, it was booklets, not just on the cheapest printing of them. And you can and should do the same thing if you've ever lost a sale because of price. So are you thinking right now of how people are using your product or service that maybe somebody views as a commodity, and how you can position that differently and take the focus away from price? You should. And here's a few brief tips on positioning that value instead of just selling on price. Number one, get them to consider the cost over time and not just the price. Ask questions that get them to tell you about all the costs that will be involved in the long term with a lower priced alternative. And then you can compare that to your price, not just the competitor's one-time lowball price. Next, be a specialist. Most sales reps don't take the time to do this, but it makes the ones who do stand out that much further apart from the crowd. When you provide information on how customers can grow their business, they feel like they're getting a great deal. And then your price, which is higher, is just an afterthought. You've moved them out of playing in that price arena, and now they're focused on the use and the value and what they're going to get, the results long term. Next, work for the best customers, not all of the customers. I love going to Costco, but I don't buy all of my stuff in huge boxes or 20 at a time or 50-gallon barrels just to get a lower price. And, a lot of other people don't either. Many of us are willing to pay a premium for the value and convenience we get when we buy things elsewhere. So likewise, understand that only certain customers will pay a premium for the value you deliver. Those are your targeted prospects. Get a grip on the fact that you're not going to sell everyone. But, understand this. You don't need to sell everyone, do you? So you shouldn't want to. All right, we just scratched the surface here on value and price, and I promise we're going to give this more in-depth treatment on future episodes. But for now, think about these ideas and others that you thought of as you were listening to it. Think about how it applies again to what you sell and the use and the value that people are extracting from it, and how much higher that is than the price that you're charging. Okay. Oh, you know what time it is, don't you?
Your attitude will be iron every way, you'll never feel what they say. It's the art of the sales quote of the day.
That's right. It's time for the quote of the day, and today's quote comes from Ben Franklin. And despite some insinuations, no, I did not know him personally. So you probably heard this quote before. You might have seen it up on a sign somewhere and in some tiny shop. And the reason is that, it's true. And here it is. The bitterness of poor quality remains long after the sweetness of low price is forgotten. So true. The bitterness of poor quality remains long after the sweetness of low price is forgotten. And maybe there's a reason Ben Franklin is on the $100 bill. Think about that one. Okay, speaking of value, if you're getting great value from what you hear here in our show twice a week, please do share it with a couple other people. Send them to our show site, which is theartofsales.com, theartofsales.com. Also, subscribe to the show when you're there so you never miss an episode. And also, if you're on iTunes, would you please leave us a 5-star rating and a nice review? I will greatly appreciate that. And if you have not yet picked up your copy or had it sent to you of my free book, How to Place the Successful Sales and Prospecting Call with My Proven 7-Step Sales Process, I want to mail that to you. It's a 180-page book. It is free. We do ask that you help with just partially with the small shipping charge, and you can do that at freesalesbook.com. freesalesbook.com. That is for U.S. addresses only. There is an international option right below there on the order form. Okay, thank you again so much for investing your time with me. Until next time, make it your best sales day ever. I'm Art Sobczak.